On the Russian side, another psychological operation is being distributed. Allegedly, the Ukrainian Liberation Forces have begun to liberate Holyuka, and the AFU have made progress on the western outskirts of the city, which has been under enemy control since 2016. I am of course with both hands in favor, but the theses spread by enemy propagandists have nothing to do with reality at all. The aim of these info psyops is to offer hope and later induce disappointment when those hopes are not realized. The occupiers are trying to pass off local tactical battles on the outskirts of the city, which have been going on there for almost 10 years, as a combined arms offensive operation. Do you have any idea what kind of effort it takes to liberate this huge city? After all, Holyuka is the fourth largest city in Ukraine by area, 422 square kilometers. This is 20% more than the Gaza Strip. Several important highways pass through or near the city, including the MO3 as the main supply arm for the occupiers from Russia. Yes, the AFU are close, but this direction is reliably covered by a network of turricans. And this means that it is necessary to storm head-on, and no one will do that. To accomplish this task it is necessary to free everything from Kreminna to Debaltsev, including Bakhmut, Svitlodarsk, Volhyrsk. This is a front several hundred kilometers wide, 15 to 70 kilometers deep. This operation will be at the level of the potential liberation of Crimea. In order to liberate the city, it is necessary to conduct a strategic offensive operation, and involve at least 150,000 military personnel along with thousands of pieces of equipment. Therefore, it is very funny to read from the occupiers or an article on Time, which talked about the liberation of Holyuka by the forces of one brigade. Liberation will happen, but one must understand the details in order to distinguish enemy disinformation from reality. The reality is somewhat different, and it is described above. Briefly on Avdiivka. Russian troops are preparing for the third wave of the offensive. Now there is a process of accumulation of mechanized component. This is clearly evidenced by the redeployment of the tank regiment and division. Predictably, the enemy will try within the framework of this wave of the offensive to reach the right side of the railroad, gain a foothold and develop the offensive in the direction and subsequent occupation of the village of Stepovy. This will allow them to take fire control of Highway 0542 and start moving in its direction and Berdichi. They will also try to break into the coke plant industrial zone. Obviously, from the south the enemy will attack from Vodiany to Severny in order to capture it and establish fire control over Route 0542, followed by a move to Tonienki. I think that the Russian command more adequately perceives its capabilities now, and therefore physically cut 0542 and encircle Avdiivka plan for the fourth wave of the offensive, which can be organized in early December. Two important points. The third wave of the offensive will not come as a surprise to the Ukrainian command. Everything said earlier should have been implemented by the enemy a week ago, during their first offensive by two echelons. But the encirclement of Avdiivka in a few days, turned into a battle of foreheads against the coke plant fence for the second month. Therefore, no matter how gloomy the scenario described above is perceived, it is not yet a fact that the enemy will be able to fully realize it.